You clicked on a good one now, didn't you? Welcome back! We are going to talk about my new workout structure. For this period of time, I now have a lot less work going on. I have a lot less teaching going on. Work will always be there. But I now have more time to incorporate, dance technique, actually dancing for myself and not just teaching dance all the time, which I love, but it's also nice to be my own student sometimes. So I have split my workout into 3 strength sessions. I have a lower body day, an upper body day, and a full body day. In between this, I will also, again, add the dance technique. We're also going to add in some sprints. And sometimes I'm also going to add in some group fitness classes. Did I say Groot? Group fitness classes. I would love to take a group class. Anyways, so let me walk you through it step by step. For these next 6 weeks, which is also the reason why I have 6 weeks, it's both because my work schedule is going to start up again, so I might switch some things around, maybe change it up a little bit. And I am also trying out Ross Still's 6-week plyo training program. I have found him very recently, but I love all the information he puts out. So this is just, a little shout out to him. Check him out if you like athletic training. Anyways, we're going to get back into it. This 6-week guide is going to have 3 sessions a week. So I have put them together with all of my strength sessions. Even though I'm doing upper body, 3 exercises of plyometrics, it's going to be fine. The plyometric sessions are going to change week by week, but my strength session is going to be the same. So that is what I'm going to go through with you today. So for my lower body, after we've done the plyometrics, we are going to go into our first strength exercise, which is going to be front squats. Where I'm filming this is the studio where I work as a fitness instructor. They don't have any squat racks yet, so I had to get a little creative, as you can see. Nothing can stop you when you put your mind to something. So we're going to start with this because it's a great exercise to work the quads. You're also going to work a lot of core and glutes, of course, but mostly the quads is the focus here. I have chosen an exercise that works the quads specifically because, as you can see here, when the exercise is getting a little bit rougher when I'm on the last reps, my hips tend to lift up a little bit before. I'm not going straight up, but my hips are kind of wanting to take over, which is an indication that my hamstrings are the stronger muscle group and they want to do the heavy lifting, literally. So that's also one of the reasons I want my quads to be a little bit stronger, develop more strength in there. Next up, we're going to do the hip thrust. We do not have any equipment that made the hip thrust easy for me at all, which you're going to see. So I'm going to insert a clip from a real hip thrust from the gym. So I wasn't able to do it how it's supposed to be that day. You can see it's not from a lack of trying. But the hip thrust is going to come in here, which is going to help lock up the hips at the top. We're going to work the glutes in the shortened position. After that, we're going to go into a single leg knee drive. Now, this is not any hypertrophy exercise. This is an exercise that is more for balance. We're going to work a little bit hamstring, but it's more about driving that knee forward and keeping the core engaged, trying to keep the balance even though the movement is shifting rapidly. This is going to be great for pirouettes. You're working on single leg stability. It's a single leg exercise. You need a lot of that in dancing because you're not always doing every movement on both legs. You're going to do one leg at a time a lot of the time. So that one is put in there. And one side was definitely better than the other. So I always start with my weaker side to make sure that that side is getting the most buck, to make sure that side is getting maximum effort put in, and then I'm going to match the other side to the first side. Next, we're doing an abduction exercise. This is for my hips. That is one of my focus points when it comes to this or these 6 weeks. I know that my hip strength has not been the best after being to a physio, so that is definitely something we are working on. So this exercise I saw on Brett Contreras, aka the Glute Guides page. This is going to work the standing leg. So not the leg you're lifting up, even though it might look like it, but I'm working the standing leg. We're working the glute medius. So that side glute that a lot of people always talk about. Pushing it up. And I mean, if you have not tried it, give it a try. You will feel a burn. If you don't feel it, I don't know what to tell you. And finally, we're going to end with the side plank twist. We are adding in one exercise that works rotation and also the side plank. So we're getting a little bit of core in there as well. For the full body session, we are again starting with the plyometrics, and then I'm going to go over to deadlifts. So this is a trap bar deadlift. I prefer this one to a normal barbell. I don't know why, it just it feels better. And we're going to do more of a strength focused set on this one. So I'm only working up to 5 reps. When I'm coming to the last set, I'm going to remove some of the weight plates and I'm going to go into a speed set. Which means it's supposed to be a speed set, but speed had left the building. I had no speed in me. I had taken a group fitness class the day before, which I normally won't do, especially that class. So, I mean, I was dead from that class. So we were pushing, we were trying our hardest. It was not the best workout, but I did what I could. So excuse the speed. Then we're gonna go over to a row. So I'm using dumbbells for this one. If I were at the gym, I might use a barbell instead, but I just found it easier. I just couldn't be bothered with putting the weight plates on. We're still going to work on pulling the weights back. Think of putting them in your pocket so you're not lifting your shoulders up, but really using your back muscles to pull back the weights. Then we're gonna go over to a back lunge. Again, here I would use a barbell if I were at the gym, but we're making it easy for ourselves. So I am working one leg at a time, starting with the side that is a little bit weaker, which will be the right side for me. That is the side where I also had a pulled hamstring and I've had a little bit of knee issues earlier. So that is always the side that I prefer to start with. So we are trying to get deep. I will eventually also do this more as a deficit lunge, but for now I'm just keeping it straight on the floor. Again, this is going to be a single leg exercise. We're really working on that single leg strength, trying to get them to the same level as much as possible. Then we're going to go over to a landmine shoulder press. The reason I'm doing this variation is just to switch it up a little bit, working the shoulder in a different direction, because I've done a lot of straight up shoulder presses. So this time we're going to take it more into this like diagonal. I don't know if you heard that. That was my elbow. Diagonal direction. Again, we're doing it single leg here, single leg. We're doing it single arm. Lastly, I added in hamstring slides. I was not able to film them because I was not able to do them on the floor there. That floor is just impossible to do anything with. But doing this hamstring slide, your hamstring is going to help with hip extension, but it is also responsible for knee flexion. So it crosses at your hip and at your knee. I don't know if you can see this at all. I am trying to demonstrate here. So when you're doing this hamstring slide, then you're going to work on that knee flexion part of the hamstring. We need them both, and I haven't been very good at doing them both. I've done a lot of hinging, not a lot of the other version. So that's why we're incorporating this one in this 6-week program. Lastly, we have our upper body. And again, we're gonna start with the plyometrics. Then we're gonna go over to some chin-ups. I have not been very consistent with my chin-ups, so they are not at their best at all. But we're working on it, we're getting them back again. So I always start with body weight, see how many I can do, and then I'm going to use the band to just rep out. Even if it's just one more rep, then at least you're getting a little bit more, so you're pushing towards getting more of those body weight ones. I am doing this with a supinated grip, which means that my hands are towards me. You could also do it in a neutral, or you can do it with a pronated grip, which is what you would usually consider the pull-up. So I call this the chin-up, but it might be different what people call it. But it is with the supinated grip. Lateral raises are next. We're going to work that mid-delt, so getting them up to the side. This is an exercise where you don't need a lot of weight, and I feel like it never gets easier, but we are working towards it. It's also going to help with a little cap on the shoulder. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's nice to see a little bit of definition. And it's also nice to just not work one exercise for the shoulders, but getting in all of the 3 parts of the shoulders, both the front, the mid, and the back. Going over to push-ups is a great body weight exercise, working the chest. You also do a lot of pushing off of the floor in dancing, so it's just an easy one to use. Again, you don't need any equipment for this. You can do this wherever you are. So here we're just pushing it out, doing it on our knees, as many as we can manage. We're going to end with some core. So first of all, I'm going to do the leg raises. I know there's not a lot of movement happening. This is not one of those fancy ones where my toe goes to the bar. I never do these. I think the last time I tried was over a year ago. So we're just starting with trying to flex or get some flexion in that spine, which means kind of curling the tailbone under. That's the image I'm thinking of. So we're going to try to lift it up and then bring it down. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but my abs were on fire. And then I'm going to work it up. You know, we have to start somewhere. We have to start somewhere, and then we're going to build it up. And then in a few months, who knows where I'm going to be at. Moving on from that, we're going to go over to the Pallof press with an overhead reach. So this one is going to work anti-rotation, which is also very good for pirouettes. You're going to resist the movement. You're not going to rotate towards where the weight is coming from. In this case, the weight is going to be very unstable as well because of this big plate that is just dangling on the side. And then you're going to try to lift the band overhead without flaring your ribs. So trying to keep everything into place. Again, it might not look as much, but you really have to focus for this one. Ending with some hip flexion work. So this is a variation that I like to do. I like to lie on the box if I can find a height that works. Sometimes the kettlebells are a little bit too big. It depends on where you are. So you could do other types of hip flexor exercises, but if I'm able to do this one, I will, because then you get the contraction where you're pulling the leg towards you. And then when you're lowering it, you're also going to get that eccentric where you're lengthening the hamstring as well. So I kind of feel like it's a 2-in-1, getting a little bit of a stretch. And it's also so hard to get that leg up, but it feels really good after. Hip flexors are so important to work as dancers because when you're kicking that leg, we're doing so many things with those hip flexors, and I don't feel like they get the attention they deserve. You're working so much core and everything else, but the hip flexors are they're just forgotten. So we're going to bring them back. Like I mentioned earlier, I am also doing some dance techniques. So on Mondays when I had my lower body day, I will then, before teaching class in the evening, I'm going to do my dance technique. The next day I am going to just do some sprints on the treadmill, and then I'm also going to have a little bit of choreography, a little bit of dance technique. When I'm doing my full body workout, I teach 2 dance classes in the evening. So, we're getting a little bit of dance in there as well. 2 days a week, I'm going to take completely off. So Thursdays are going to be one of those days for me. I am just going to go for a walk, do a little bit of stretching when I get back home. Nothing intense, just to kind of loosen up a little bit. Maybe there are different parts of the body that needs a little bit of extra love. Just getting a little mobility to the body. It feels so good. Then on a Friday, I'm going to do upper body. And then I will either do a dance class or like a dance technique in the evening, or just take the day off. It kind of depends what my body needs. On Saturdays, I'm either going to run. I'm not a runner, but we're trying to get there. Or I'm going to join a Hyrox class. They don't have all the equipment yet, but it is hard enough. I don't know why I'm signing myself up for that, but it's kind of fun to not always work out alone as well, because everything I do is alone. So sometimes it's nice to be in a group setting, even though I don't like the running part. But we're trying to get there. We're trying to be better at running. I might never love it, but we're trying. So that was a little bit of a breakdown into what I am doing now currently for the next 6 weeks. We'll see what happens after that when my schedule changes. Maybe I can keep the same, maybe not. We'll see when the time comes. So I hope you found this interesting. Maybe you can take a few exercises from it, or maybe it can just be inspiration and fun to watch. Thank you so much for watching this one, and I will see you in the next.